The wallet sat there on the rain-soaked sidewalk, designer leather glistening under the streetlight, stuffed with more cash than Marcus had seen in his entire life. He glanced around, no one watching. His son's medication was past due, rent was 2 weeks late, and the final eviction notice waited at home. One decision, made in a heartbeat, would alter the course of not just his life, but the lives of everyone he loved. What would you have done? If you're touched by stories of ordinary people facing extraordinary moral choices, hit that like button and subscribe now. Your support helps us bring more real-life stories of hope and transformation to light. Marcus Jenkins hunched his shoulders against the November rain, his worn work boots splashing through puddles as he hurried home from his second job. The city lights blurred around him, his mind occupied with calculations no parent should have to make: which bill to pay first, how to stretch the remaining groceries through the weekend, whether his son's asthma medication could wait another week. At 34, Marcus carried the weight of the world on his broad shoulders. 5 years ago, when Alicia left them, she'd taken everything except their son, Elijah. "I never signed up to raise a sick kid," she'd said, as if their 7-year-old's chronic asthma was somehow a personal affront to her dreams of carefree living. Now, Elijah was 12, and Marcus was working himself to the bone, days as a janitor at the downtown office complex, evenings washing dishes at Romano's Italian restaurant. Still, it was never enough. The medical bills kept coming, and Elijah's condition required constant attention. Tonight had been particularly grueling. The restaurant manager had kept him late cleaning the walk-in freezer, meaning he'd missed the 10:15 bus and had to wait 40 minutes for the next one. Mrs. Grayson from apartment 4B was watching Elijah, but she had made it clear her babysitting services weren't charity. Every minute past 11 would cost him extra. The rain intensified as Marcus turned onto Fifth Avenue, a street lined with high-end boutiques and restaurants that served meals costing more than his daily wage. He kept his head down, feeling out of place among the gleaming storefronts and luxury cars. That's when he saw it, a sleek black wallet lying on the sidewalk, partially hidden beneath the awning of an exclusive jewelry store. Marcus slowed his pace, glancing around. The street was nearly deserted at this hour, just a few late-night revelers hurrying to catch taxis. He approached cautiously and picked up the wallet. It was heavy, made of buttery soft leather that probably cost more than his monthly rent. The rational part of his brain told him to look for ID, to find the owner, to do the right thing. But another voice whispered of desperation, of Elijah's empty prescription bottle, of the final eviction notice taped to their apartment door. With trembling fingers, Marcus opened the wallet. His breath caught. Inside was a driver's license belonging to Alexandra Harrington, CEO of Harrington Innovations, one of the largest tech companies in the country. Her face stared back at him from the ID photo, confident and poised. And behind the ID were stacks of $100 bills. More money than Marcus had seen in one place outside of movies. This could solve everything, he whispered to himself, the rain drumming on his shoulders. The rent, Elijah's medicine, maybe even a few months of breathing room. For one terrible, wonderful moment, he considered pocketing the cash and dropping the wallet in a mailbox. Who would know? Alexandra Harrington probably wouldn't even notice the money was gone. People like her lost more than this on bad stock market days. But as quickly as the thought came, shame followed. His father's voice echoed in his memory: a man's character is defined by what he does when no one is watching. Marcus sighed, tucking the wallet into his jacket pocket. He'd find a way to return it tomorrow. Maybe there would be a reward, though he wouldn't count on it. When he finally reached his apartment building, the ancient elevator was out of service again. Marcus trudged up 5 flights of stairs, his legs burning with exhaustion. Mrs. Grayson was dozing on his threadbare couch, the television murmuring in the background. "You're late," she said, checking her watch as she gathered her things. "That's an extra 20. Marcus nodded, too tired to argue. He paid her from his meager tips and thanked her for staying. After she left, he checked on Elijah. His son slept fitfully, his breathing slightly labored. The empty prescription bottle sat accusingly on the nightstand. Marcus touched his son's forehead gently, then retreated to the kitchen table where he placed Alexandra Harrington's wallet. He stared at it for a long time, then pulled out his phone and searched her name. Dozens of articles appeared, business profiles, charity galas, innovation awards. According to Forbes, she was worth over $11 billion. The money in this wallet probably meant nothing to her. But it wasn't his. Marcus rubbed his eyes, exhaustion settling into his bones. He would sleep for a few hours, then figure out how to return the wallet before his morning shift. As he headed to the shower, his phone pinged with a text from his landlord, "Payment by noon tomorrow or eviction proceeds." Morning came too quickly. Marcus woke Elijah, helped him with his breathing exercises, and made a simple breakfast of toast and eggs. "Dad, are you okay?" Elijah asked, his observant eyes taking in the dark circles under his father's eyes. "Just tired, buddy. Big day today." Marcus forced a smile. "Mrs. Grayson will pick you up from school, okay? I might be a little late tonight." After dropping Elijah at school, Marcus called in sick to his janitorial job, something he never did, and took the bus downtown to the gleaming headquarters of Harrington Innovations. The wallet felt heavy in his pocket, a constant reminder of the choice he'd made. The lobby of Harrington Tower was intimidating, all glass, steel, and important-looking people hurrying in every direction. Marcus approached the security desk, suddenly aware of his worn clothes and scuffed boots. "Can I help you?" The security guard's tone suggested he doubted Marcus had legitimate business there. "I found something belonging to Ms. Harrington," Marcus said, his voice steadier than he expected. "I'd like to return it to her." The guard's eyebrows rose. "And what might that be?" Marcus lowered his voice. "Her wallet. It has her ID and other things. I'd prefer to give it directly to her." The guard looked skeptical but picked up his phone. After a brief conversation, he gestured to a seating area. "Wait there. Someone from Ms. Harrington's office will be down." 20 minutes later, a polished young woman in a tailored suit approached him. "I'm Vanessa Chen, Ms. Harrington's executive assistant. I understand you have something for her." Marcus stood. "Yes, I found her wallet last night on Fifth Avenue." He pulled it from his pocket and handed it over. Vanessa opened it, her professional composure slipping momentarily as she saw the contents intact. "Everything appears to be here. Ms. Harrington will be relieved. She's been quite concerned." She studied Marcus with new interest. "May I have your name?" "Marcus Jenkins." "And contact information?" Marcus hesitated, then provided his cell number. He didn't expect to hear from them again. "Thank you, Mr. Jenkins. Your honesty is appreciated." Vanessa handed him a business card. "If you ever need anything, please don't hesitate to call." Marcus nodded, pocketing the card automatically. He had done the right thing, but as he left the building, reality crashed back. He still had no way to pay the rent or refill Elijah's prescription. The momentary glow of virtue faded against the harsh light of necessity. He spent the afternoon applying for emergency assistance programs and calling the pharmacy to see if they offered payment plans. By the time he picked up his evening shift at Romano's, he was mentally exhausted and no closer to solving his problems. 3 hours into his shift, the restaurant manager appeared in the kitchen doorway. "Jenkins, someone's asking for you out front." Marcus frowned, drying his hands on a towel. "For me?" "Table 7. Don't take all night, those dishes aren't going to wash themselves." Confused, Marcus made his way through the swinging doors into the dining area. The restaurant was busy with the dinner crowd, the air fragrant with garlic and tomato sauce. He scanned the room until his eyes landed on table 7. Alexandra Harrington sat alone, her dark hair pulled back in a sleek ponytail, wearing a simple but obviously expensive black dress. She looked exactly like her photos, but somehow more human in person. When she saw him, she smiled and gestured to the chair across from her. Marcus approached cautiously, acutely aware of his wet apron and disheveled appearance. "Miss Harrington?" "Mr. Jenkins. Please, sit down." Her voice was warm but authoritative, the voice of someone used to being obeyed. "I'm working, ma'am. I can't really. I've spoken with your manager. He's given you a break." She gestured again to the chair. "Please. Just 5 minutes." Reluctantly, Marcus sat, feeling out of place in the elegant restaurant where he usually only saw the dirty dishes. "I wanted to thank you personally," Alexandra said, studying him with intelligent eyes. There was over $5,000 in that wallet, along with irreplaceable personal items. Marcus shifted uncomfortably. Anyone would have done the same. Her smile turned knowing. "We both know that's not true. Especially someone in your circumstances." He stiffened. "What do you mean?" "I make it a point to know who I'm dealing with, Mr. Jenkins. Single father, 2 jobs, a son with chronic asthma, facing eviction." She held up a hand when he started to speak. "I'm not judging you. Quite the opposite. Your integrity under such pressure is remarkable." Marcus didn't know how to respond. The fact that she had investigated him should have felt invasive, but her tone held genuine respect. "I'd like to offer you a job," she continued. "Harrington Innovations has an opening in our facilities management department. The salary is triple what you're making now, with full benefits, including excellent health insurance." Marcus stared at her, certain he had misheard. "Why would you?" "Because character matters to me, Mr. Jenkins. Intelligence and skills can be taught, but integrity is innate." She slid a business card across the table. "Call this number tomorrow. They're expecting you." Before he could respond, she stood and placed an envelope on the table. "This is a personal thank you. No strings attached, regardless of whether you take the job." With that, she was gone, leaving Marcus staring at the envelope. Inside, he found a check for $10,000 and a note, for Elijah's medication and a fresh start. Some good deeds deserve to be rewarded. That night, for the first time in years, Marcus slept without worry crushing his chest. The next morning, he called the number and scheduled an interview. 3 days later, he started his new position at Harrington Innovations. The months that followed transformed their lives. With comprehensive health insurance, Elijah's asthma was properly managed with the best medications and specialists. They moved to a better apartment closer to a good school. For the first time, Marcus could save money instead of merely surviving paycheck to paycheck. But the most profound change wasn't financial. It was the return of hope, the ability to plan for a future instead of just enduring the present. 6 months into his new job, Marcus received an email from Alexandra Harrington herself, inviting him to her office. Nervous but curious, he took the elevator to the executive floor, a place he'd never had reason to visit before. Alexandra greeted him warmly, gesturing for him to sit in one of the comfortable chairs facing her desk. "How are you settling in, Marcus?" "Very well, thank you. This opportunity has changed everything for us." She nodded, pleased. "Your supervisors speak highly of your work. And how is Elijah?" "He's thriving. His asthma is under control, and he's excelling in school." Marcus smiled, still amazed at how quickly their circumstances had improved. "I'm glad to hear it." Alexandra leaned forward, her expression becoming more serious. "I have a proposition for you. We're launching a new foundation focused on supporting single parents in crisis, providing emergency assistance, healthcare support, educational opportunities. I'd like you to help develop and eventually run it." Marcus blinked in surprise. "Me? But I don't have any experience with." "You have the most important qualification, you've lived it." You understand what these families need in a way no consultant ever could. She slid a folder across the desk. The salary and benefits are outlined here. Take some time to think about it. Marcus opened the folder, his eyes widening at the figures. This is generous. It's appropriate for the responsibility, Alexandra corrected. You'd be helping families like yours, people who are doing their best but need a hand up, not a handout. As Marcus left her office, folder clutched in his hand, he thought about how differently things might have turned out if he'd made another choice that rainy night. One moment of integrity had altered the trajectory of his life. 2 years later, the Harrington Family Support Initiative was helping thousands of single-parent families across the country. Marcus spoke regularly at community centers and schools, sharing his story and connecting struggling parents with resources. Elijah, now 14 and healthy, often accompanied him, proud of his father's work. You always say it was luck that changed our lives, he told Marcus one evening as they drove home from an event. But it wasn't luck. It was you making the right choice when it would have been easier not to. Marcus glanced at his son, struck by his wisdom. Maybe you're right. But I think it was also about someone seeing value in that choice, someone who could have just said thank you and moved on with her life. Alexandra Harrington had become more than an employer, she was a mentor and friend. She often reminded Marcus that her investment in him was one of the best she'd ever made. Integrity and compassion, she would say, are the most undervalued currencies in business. On the 3rd anniversary of finding the wallet, Marcus received a small package at his office. Inside was a framed photo of him and Elijah at the opening of the foundation's new headquarters, along with a note from Alexandra. Sometimes the smallest decisions reveal our true character. Thank you for reminding me why I do what I do. Marcus placed the frame on his desk, a daily reminder that life can change in an instant, sometimes because of luck, sometimes because of the choices we make, and sometimes because someone sees something in us that we don't see in ourselves. That night, as he tucked Elijah into bed, a ritual they maintained even though his son insisted he was too old for it, Marcus reflected on their journey. "Dad?" Elijah asked, his voice sleepy. "Do you ever wonder what would have happened if you'd kept the money?" Marcus sat on the edge of the bed, considering the question. "I think about it sometimes. We might have had a few good months, but then we'd have been right back where we started. And I'd have had to live with that choice." "I'm glad you didn't keep it," Elijah said. "Not just because of all this," he gestured around their comfortable home, "but because you showed me what matters." Marcus smiled, his heart full. "Get some sleep, buddy. Big day tomorrow." As he closed Elijah's door, his phone pinged with a text from Alexandra. Council approved full funding for the scholarship program. 20 kids of single parents will go to college next fall. This is just the beginning. Marcus texted back a simple, "Thank you," knowing she would understand he wasn't just thanking her for the news. Sometimes life's most significant turning points don't announce themselves with fanfare. They arrive disguised as small moments, a wallet on a rainy sidewalk, a choice made when no one is watching, a chance to prove who you really are when the stakes are highest. For Marcus Jenkins, that moment had revealed not just his character to the world, but to himself. And in doing so, it had opened doors he never knew existed, not just for him and Elijah, but for countless others who would benefit from his experience and compassion.